What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another Arsenal live stream. And today it is Friday, and just when you think that Edu has been sleeping for the whole of the transfer window, along come the signings. Yesterday, Trossard, and today we are about to make another signing. Who would have thought it, people? Do we know much about him? Not really, but we'll pretend we do, and we'll pretend we're signing a world beater. Big up to everyone for tuning in. Make sure you like the video. Keep subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Let's get those numbers up. And listen, thank you very much to everyone who tuned in last night for the watch along. It was the most shameless and horrible watch along that we've ever had to do. And, actually sitting there hoping that Nando's FC actually got a result. One thing that I've realised, don't ever rely on Tottenham to do you a favour. It's just not going to happen. They are a shambles. And, 2-0 up at half-time. They bottled it, got beaten 4-2. How about them Manchester City fans, by the way, man? What does that say about the modern game? Manchester City fans booing their team at half-time. They've won 4 of the last 5 Premier Leagues, and they're getting booed at half-time. Pep Guardiola, if you haven't seen his interview after the game, go and watch that interview. It's one of the best post-match interviews I've probably ever watched. Talk about an entitled fan base. I remember Man City being in League One with Sean Goater and Paul Dickov and Nicky Weaver and all them, man. So, yeah, they need to remember where they've come from. But anyway, that's their business. We may have to delete that watch-along. It's scandalous. But you know me, I own it, bro. I keep it there. It was all for a good cause, but it was a waste of energy in the end, people. So, it is what it is. Let's concentrate on Arsenal. It is Friday. Shaw Sports News is back, people. And we have got more transfers to announce. I can't believe it. No players were coming in. Now it looks like we could have 2, 3, maybe even 4 players potentially coming to Arsenal in this window. Let's see. Let's get into it. Let me just get into a few of your comments. I do love that reaction to the false hope, though. Yeah, listen, man, we're trying to do it for the greater good, but it didn't work. Edu is cooking. He's finally put down the barbecue. It's Friday then. It's Saturday, Sunday. Da, 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 da. Meet me at the hotel. And da, da, da. Come on, man. Signings are turning up. Listen, people, it's Arsenal v Man United on Sunday. I don't care what anybody says. For me, that is still my favourite game in the Premier League. I'm telling you, I love that game. I can't wait for that game on Sunday. It's going to be mad. But anyway, talk when you reach 6 signings. Listen, man, Chelsea, they're going crazy right now. Them man are probably going to sign more players. Nearly 1K in quick. Smash the likes as you enter. Big up yourself, people. Big up yourself. And anyway, let's get into it. Let's not delay any longer. I hope everyone's having a great Friday. And like I said, like the video and subscribe. Tomorrow, just to give you a bit of context for the weekend, Liverpool against Chelsea watch along, sorry. So we'll be doing that tomorrow. And then obviously Arsenal against Man United on Sunday. So massive, 2 big watch alongs. Big up Jitesh. I live in Sydney. I've never met a Man City fan. Yeah. Listen, let me not say too much about him. Southern Gunnar, thank you for the super chat, bro. The checkbook is out and loot being spent. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. Instead of 90 mil spent on 1, get 4 in. Let's get this title. Big up King Henry said, after good news come the terrible news. His dad, oh man, transplant. Hey, prayers for your father, King Henry, man. I hope your dad gets better soon, bro. Big up to you and thank you for tuning in. Prayers to your dad. Luzma said, big up Big C, happy Friday from Toronto, 3-point collecting on Sunday. Let's go. Liverpool v Chelsea is the new El Bantico, says Harrison. And Andy said, yo, Big C, thank God it's Friday. C-Unit community, big up each and every one of you, each and every time. Right, let's get into the shameless pretending and excitement of a player that I'd hardly heard of, apart from packing him a few times on FIFA and quick selling him for about 60 coins. But let's get into it. I'm sure all of you have been on YouTube this morning, typed in his name and tried to figure out who the hell he is. But anyway, I couldn't believe it when I saw this morning. Fabrizio, who's been getting blocked and abused by Arsenal fans all over the place. Here we go, 2 days in a row, giving us another new signing, people. Arsenal have completed the signing of Jakub Kiwior. I hope I haven't butchered this guy's name. This is how they pronounced it on Sky Sports, so blame them. Jakub Kiwior, here we go. Contracts are being signed with Spezia. Fee in excess of 20 million euros with add-ons. Understand Kiwior has agreed personal terms on a 5-year deal. Medical will be completed in the next 48 hours. I mean, I'm going to say what everyone's thinking. I've always rated this guy. What a player. And I'm delighted that we've signed him. No, I wish I could say that. His name sounds like caviar. And, yeah, most people replied to this tweet by saying, who? Jakub who? Now, I'm going to be honest. The only time I've seen this guy play was in the World Cup. I did some World Cup watch-alongs on DR Sports and a few on here. And I did watch a couple of games of Poland. The only reason I took any kind of even tiny notice of this guy was because West Ham were being linked with him. And I thought, oh, it's interesting. Let's have a look at him. I can't tell you much apart from a few stats and some info that I'm going to come up with. But listen, Jakub Kiwior. People saying caviar. But listen, he's on his way to Arsenal. It'll be a 5-year contract. Now, it's an interesting one because on one hand, I'm sitting here going, we need a midfielder and we've signed a centre-back. But what you have to understand with this deal, Mikel Arteta was desperately trying to sign Lisandro Martinez in the summer. The only reason we didn't sign him is because the deal went, above 50 million. Apparently, Arsenal wanted to pay about 40 to 45 million for Lisandro. Now, Arteta, from what we're reading, and I've read a few things today, he wants 2 right-footed centre-backs and 2 left-footed centre-backs. He doesn't like having to play Gabriel so much, especially in Europa League and that. You notice Gabriel is consistently playing games. Now, Kiwior is a left-footed centre-back, which does give us that option for rotation now. Maybe in the Europa League, we can go Kiwior and maybe Rob Holding, or you can move Ben White there. You could play Tomiyasu there. But it gives us the opportunity to rotate Gabriel and Saliba. How good is he? We'll soon find out, people. Just to give you a bit of context, man, big up Don Draper, who said they're calling him the Polish Maldini. He's very highly rated in Italy. Apparently, Juventus and AC Milan have been looking at him. Both clubs have been scouting him. It's believed that AC Milan had a meeting with his agent, and a 20 million euro offer from West Ham was turned down at the end of December. And just last week, Borussia Dortmund had a 22 million euros offer turned down for him as they wanted more. Arsenal's deal will apparently get close to 26 million with add-ons. And he's set to join the club. Apparently his medical will be in the next 48 hours. So listen, if anybody in the comments knows much about him, maybe you watch Syria and you've seen this guy, or maybe you're a Poland fan and you know a little bit about him, feel free to put it in the comments. A couple of people reached out to me. He's young, 22 years of age, versatile player, can play centre-back, left-back, or CDM, potentially as backup to Partey. Apparently pocketed Vlahovic when he played against Juventus. He's much better than Rob Holding, apparently. And yeah, West Ham, 20 million offer was turned down. Dortmund's 22. Very solid player, squad depth, and apparently extremely hard-working on the training ground. Now, listen, let's be honest. A lot of us have never heard of him, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, until I saw him in the World Cup, I'd never heard of him. I think I saw 2 of Poland's games in the World Cup, and I wasn't particularly keeping an eye on him. He looks steady. Let's hope he's closer to Gabriel than Pablo Mari in terms of the left-footed centre-back. Better than Rob Holding is what everyone's saying, so that's a start. I don't expect him to start. Gabriel and Saliba is our certified centre-back partnership. But we do need options of cover, and you're looking at it now, you're going, right, if Kiwior is a good centre-back, left-footed, Ben White can play centre-back, Tomiyasu, Rob Holding, we're now We look solid at centre-back if Kiwior is a good player. Yeah, that's what I've been saying on Twitter, man. I've always rated him. I've been watching this guy for years. I've always rated him. He's the Polish Maldini. But listen, shamelessly, we don't know much about him. Now, I put a tweet out saying I still think Arsenal need to sign a midfielder. And what a lot of people were saying was, this guy can play in midfield. I don't want that. We knew Ben White could do that. I don't want somebody that can play in midfield. I want somebody that is a specialist in midfield. So for me, Arsenal should still be buying a midfielder. That, I don't look at this and think, okay, he can play DM, so let's not buy a DM. We still need a midfielder, in my opinion. So let's see. His wife is Germany's twerk champion. Hey, big up Zizzy. There you go. Entertainment on the way, people. Entertainment on the way. South London's finest. I'm done with these comments. Listen, whoever the best left-footed centre-back of all time is, he's the Polish version of them. That's what we're saying. We're shameless with it, people. Let me show you a picture of him. There was a picture with the tweet. Little Photoshop in the Arsenal kit. Here he is, people. Here he is. What a player. What a player. Outstanding talent. I think he's a silver card on FIFA. We need him upgraded, man. He needs to be a prime, he needs to be a rare gold card now. But listen, one thing I'll say, it's good to see Arsenal doing business. Now, how funny is it that they said that Edu flew to Poland to sign Mudryk. Mudryk was in Turkey. So maybe in the embarrassment of flying to Poland while he was in Turkey, he thought, you know what, while I'm here, I might as well get something. It's like being in the airport. You're about to fly home. Duty-free shops there. You think, you know what, might as well get myself some new aftershave. It's 20% cheaper than back home. Get myself a nice little Gucci aftershave or something. So I reckon Edu's just picked him up at duty-free, to be honest. He went to get Mudryk in Poland, realised he came back empty-handed and said, listen, it was all a smokescreen. I told you I was going to get Mudryk, but really, I've brought us a left-footed centre-back who you've never heard of back. So, listen, fair play to Edu. He never left empty-handed out of the airport. He went for Mudryk. He came back with Kiwior. I'm still trying to get this guy's name right. I keep forgetting his name. He plays for a team called Spezia. And listen, it's not going to write headlines, that's for sure. Let me just look at the Serie A league and this Spezia team. I don't even really watch outside of the big teams. It's not looking good because the first 12 teams are there and they're not there. Uh-oh. Well, they're 15th in the league. 15th, they conceded 28, so they've won 2 and... Yeah, they're unbeaten in 5. Yeah, he's world-class. He's absolute world-class. It is what it is. People, listen, it's good to see Arsenal spending money. The deal's been announced quickly, 5-year deal. Clearly, he wanted a left-footed centre-back in the summer with Lisandro. And let's hope he's a very good signing. But yeah, this is the new aftershave you get in duty-free, people, I'm telling you. That new Gucci aftershave, 20% cheaper than usual. And he flew out to get Mudryk. He's come back with Kiwior. But hey, it is what it is. Alan said, Kiwior better than Lisandro at United. Let's see. World class, says Darren. We're shameless. You know how we move, people. Seamless settings from Curtis. I've always rated it. That's all we can do. We're Arsenal fans. We've got to pretend we're gassed by this signing. In reality, most of us have never heard of him. And I do remember packing him a couple times on FIFA. Clearly not happy when you see cards like that in FIFA, by the way. They're quick sold instantly. You don't want nothing to do with them cards. But yeah, it is what it is. £20 million up front, a further £5 million in add-ons, and yeah, this deal's going to happen. How are you feeling about it? Listen, it's another one of them. It's difficult to get excited for, isn't it? Most of us have never heard of him, but it's filling a gap. I thought this would have been a gap that Arsenal would have tried to fill in the summer. I always felt they would go for another central defender, because they clearly wanted another left-footed defender to be able to rotate Gabriel. That's why they wanted Lisandro. But they've gone for it now. But for me, I still want the specialist midfielder, people. I can't lie. His price in FIFA has gone up. Left-footed Sol Campbell, squad depth. The next Vincent Kompany. King Henry said Jakub Kiwior has been one of the best young centre-backs in Serie A for a season and a half. I mean, just to try and gas you up a little bit, apparently Maldini, who obviously one of the greatest defenders of all time, who now is technical director of AC Milan, apparently he met Kiwior's agent last week to talk about a potential deal. So he's very highly rated in Italy and very highly rated in Poland. He played all 4 of Poland's games in the World Cup. So it's an interesting one. Done deal. Welcome to the mighty tabletop in Arsenal. And you're right, Oz, we got the socks yesterday. I told you, Trossard was the 5 pairs of socks that you get for Christmas. This is the Lynx aftershave set. Or no, the Lynx shower set that, again, you're not excited about. But after 2 weeks, when you've got no shower gel left, you realise, okay, that Lynx Africa set will actually do me quite well now, you know, because I've got no shower gel. It saves me going to the shop. So here you go, people. Here is your Lynx shower gel set. Jakub Kiwior, welcome to the Gunners. And I've always rated you, mate, even though I've practically never seen you play football. But listen, good to see Arsenal doing business. Let's hope he's a very good signing. Obviously, Gabriel came in, wasn't massively known. And he's turned out to be brilliant for us. Let's just hope he's not, you know, the last left-footed centre-back before that was Pablo Mari, who I definitely don't think was good enough. So does this mean Holding will be leaving? Do you know what? Somebody's just sent me a message before I went live. And typical Arsenal, we're going into meltdown. He said to me, oh, this means that Saliba's probably not signing a new deal. I said, nah, I don't think it does. I think we're all right. He wanted a left-footed centre-back in the summer, which was why the Lisandro links were there. So I think we're all right. That boy Random said, so did I. Probably means we ain't getting in. Dicko was being linked with. 140 said, fans say buy someone, then say not him though. Do you know what it is, 140? It's like, it's because it's not glamorous. As fans, let's be honest, unknown transfers are not exciting. You know, potential and recommendations from people. We all want to text our mates and say, look who we've just signed. This big name who we all know, and he's got a massive CV, you know, and that's the reality of the situation. We don't want somebody, you know, that's unknown. But on the flip side, obviously, sometimes unknowns turned out to be top quality. So I'm not going to write him off. And listen, yeah, he hasn't got too many wrong, Arteta. There's been a few, but I'm gonna support it. Nelson said, not gonna lie, looks like Trigger from Only Fools and Horses. Man said Trigger, and I am a fan of Only Fools and Horses, so I'm with you on that. Man said Dave, Del boy. Anyway, let me move on, people. Right, transfer number 1. We could be making 3 signings today, by the way. Let's go to transfer number 2 and the big one. Kiwior should sign by Sunday. But the second one, the big boy, this will probably be our big signing of the transfer window. Let's be real. But Leandro Trossard, I've got to be honest, people. I'm more excited about this signing today than I was yesterday. I don't know why. It's kind of kicked in. I've looked at the dynamics. And I just think, I think it's a sensible bit of business from Arsenal. I do. And I don't often applaud Edu and Arsenal for their business. I've said before, one thing that Arsenal have to deal with is stop being, be proactive, don't be reactive. But in this occasion, having missed out on Mudryk, they've had to be reactive. And I actually applaud them for getting this deal done. I really do. I think it's a very sensible bit of business, and I think he adds real quality to us. A number of stats have been put out. I mean, he's got 7 goals this season already in less games than Martinelli and Saka. He can play on the right, he can play on the left, he can play on the 10 role. Arsenal fans are loving him already due to the fact that apparently, obviously Tottenham had an offer turned down for him last week. Marseille were also trying to get hold of him. Apparently Trossard told his agent, once he knew Arsenal were interested, to not negotiate with Tottenham or Marseille, as his mind was made up on coming to Arsenal. So automatically, as in our minds, he's rejected Tottenham. So we automatically love him already. And he's in the comments, people. Put some respect on my name. Big up Trossard. These accounts are legendary. But listen, I'm happy with the signing. I've got more happy with the signing as the day has gone on. And yesterday, and I was really thinking about it, I thought, Trossard for 20 million up front. Don't worry about the 6-7 million add-ons. We've left the shop with 20 million pounds. That's what we've paid them. The add-ons I'm not interested in. This is a very good player. Every time you play Brighton, you think in the back of your mind, you got to keep Trossard quiet. He's a danger. He scored against Arsenal. He scored against Man City. He scored against Chelsea. He scored a hat-trick at Anfield. I think this is a very, very shrewd bit of business. And I'm going to be honest, I'm more positive about it than I was yesterday. Now the deal has settled, I think it's a good signing. Big C, same thing. We never heard of Gabriel and Saliba before he was signed. We should trust Edu and Arteta. I'm just happy we got someone with Premier League experience who already knows the league in terms of Trossard. Yeah, and I hear you on that. Let's hope this Kiwior is a good signing as well. Big up to Alex. And big up Christian with the super chat who said, that's now 2 signings from Brighton. Edu has a good relationship with them and can get deals done. They have a lot of talent coming through. That's a good point. We were all going crazy in the summer saying, how can you go to Brighton and sign Ben White instead of Basuma? But you would say so far Ben White has done far better than Basuma. So let's see. In Leandro, we trust. In Leandro, we trust the process, people. Trust the process. That's all we can do right now. Trust the process. And listen, I'm excited to get him in. Apparently, Arsenal were obviously trying to sign him when Arsene Wenger was the manager. And apparently, according to his agent, he rejected the move to Arsenal as they said he wasn't ready. They didn't feel he was ready to come to a club like Arsenal at that time. So they decided to just go to Brighton, stepping stone, and then try and get the big move afterwards. So, yeah, we'll have to see on that one. So, listen, I think it's a very, very good bit of business. Now, let's expand on this. Trossard, trust the process. Trossard settings, man, I'm telling you. We trust the process. I'm telling you, man, we trust it. But I think it's a very good bit of business for Arsenal. Make sure you smash the likes. Nearly 4,000 of you in the chat. Let's get 2,000 likes. Absolutely brilliant support. I think the excitement, I'm feeling the excitement from the Arsenal fans. Transfers being done, moves being made. For me, the most exciting game of the season on Sunday. I'm a stickler for what happened when we was younger. That rivalry, Ferguson and Wenger, Henry and Van Nistelrooy, Keane and Vieira. For me, Man United and Arsenal is bigger and more exciting than Arsenal-Tottenham. And I can't wait for this game on Sunday. I'm really looking forward to it. Let's add a bit of context to Leandro Trossardinho, as we're calling him. Leandro Trossardinho. So, he has links with somebody at Arsenal. We always knew this guy was going to come good at some stage. AirPod Albert, finally, pulls his weight at Arsenal and does something that we need him to do. Big up AirPod Albert. He wasn't wearing AirPods these times. Now, did you know AirPod Albert was Leandro Trossard's manager when he played for Genk over there in Belgium? So he has a very good relationship with him. And according to reports coming out, AirPod Albert was instrumental in convincing Mikel Arteta that there wasn't an attitude problem with Leandro Trossard. Now, we know that there's been issues with him at Brighton. He's had a fallout with a manager. Apparently, he had him and another player squared up to each other on the training ground at Brighton. So, AirPod Albert has obviously managed him. He knows him well, and he's obviously vouched for him and said to Mikel Arteta, listen, whatever's happening at Brighton right now is nothing to worry about. It's a fallout. Fallouts happen in football. But he's backing him, and he thinks that it's someone that we can trust and that we can rely on. So big up AirPod Albert, man. He's stuck his neck on the line. He's worked with him before. It always helps, I think, when you've got a coach that's worked with a player before and you know that the manager is going to take your word that he's a good lad. You know, people want to know what you're like. So big up to Earpod Albert for finally pulling his weight. Loz Incredible said Klopp was sending shots at Arsenal. Listen, I've said this before and I'll say it again. When you're no threat, and I'll repeat this for those at the back, when you're no threat, they don't talk about you. When you're not good, they don't talk about you. When you start worrying people, when you're at the top, when people feel threatened by you, they'll start talking about you a lot. Did you notice that Pep and Klopp, they always used to send shots at each other in press conferences? Now these guys are sending shots at us. It's all welcome, people. It's all good. 9 shots like 50 Cent, people, I'm telling you. Send all the shots. They weren't sending shots when we were 8th. You know why? Because we were no threat to them. We were nice guys. They looked at us as nice guys in 8th place. No one cared about us. Now we're top of the league. They're sending shots. Keep sending them shots. It means we're doing something good. Klopp needs to make sure they get in the Champions League next season. We're good right now. Don't worry about us. Samuel, big up with the super chat. Curtis, the wife, is still giving me side-eye after I mashed up the house after the North London Derby victory. Hey, it was worth it. It was worth it. You might have to hold a week of side-eye. By next Monday, hopefully you good. But yeah, if we beat Man United, it could be wild again. So, hey, keep it calm this weekend. But very hard to keep calm when Arsenal win big games. I can't lie. You should see the looks I get after some of these games, man. It's crazy. But big up yourself, Samuel. It's necessary, man. We're crazy. We're all big kids deep down, man. When our team scores, we just go wild. It's mad. DV said, bless up, Big C. I didn't know this. Information in entertainment. That's why you're the... Hey, big up yourself. Information and entertainment. That's what I hope to provide on this channel, people. Some info so you can learn something, and some entertainment so you can have a bit of a laugh and smile. You know, the world's a little serious, so we have to lighten it up a little bit, you know. But big up Albatross. Albatross, damn, Captain there. You've come in with a worldie there. I'm a bit disappointed I didn't think of that myself. Anyway, man said infotainment. You lot are wild, you know, I can't lie. This is how you know that Trossard should be announced today. And big up South London for becoming a member. Member stream next week. Now, Arsenal's press conference was supposed to be at 1:30 today. It's been moved back to 4 o'clock this afternoon. I couldn't do 4 o'clock today, which is why I moved the show to 2 o'clock today, unfortunately. But still, 4,100 of you in the chat. I believe, and what I'm reading, whether this is right or not, Arsenal have moved the press conference to 4 o'clock to get the Trossard announcement video done at the training ground. There should be an announcement today. So they've moved back the press conference from 1:30 to 4 o'clock to allow this, video of Trossard being announced as a sign-in to get done and edited and put out today. So transfers on the way. In terms of Kiwior, for anyone who just turned up, obviously we spoke about it at the start. Jakub Kiwior, centre-back being signed from Spezia in Italy, Polish international, £20 million. He is on his way. Apparently his medical will be on Sunday. Left-footed centre-back, 22 years of age. He'll provide cover for Gabriel. Now, let's just expand on Trossard again. Trossardinho, as we're calling him. 140, thank you for the super chat, said, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you. Then they fight you, then you win. Good words by Gandhi there. Big up yourself, Gandhi, for that little bit of knowledge. Big up 140. Yeah, the thumbnails are getting upgraded. I have to, because the thumbnails have been getting copied, and a few other channels have been using very similar ones. So I'm going to come with a brand new design next week, 100%. We've got a new thumbnail on the way. Right, let's expand on the Trossardinho. And good news, people. Good news, according to reports. Arsenal believe they have sent the paperwork and registered Leandro Trossard in time for him to be available against Manchester United on Sunday, which would be a huge, huge boost for Arsenal to have him on the bench at the Emirates against Manchester United. Smith Rowe has now had 2 weeks to get back from fitness, and now Trossard back as well. You know, if you've got 20 minutes to go, 30 minutes to go, and you need a goal, Trossard and Smith Rowe are very good options. The bench, the park bench, is finally being cleaned, people. It has been filthy for a long time. Bird poo all over it. Finally, the cleaners have turned up and they are sorting out the bench that has been an absolute mess. In fact, they said they believe. Let me actually change that. I found another article because we don't want to hear they believe. We want guarantees, people. So here, it says Leandro Trossard has completed his Arsenal medical, signed a 4.5-year deal with the club with a 1-year option. The player was registered before 12 p.m. and is available to face Man United on Sunday. Done deal, signed, sealed, delivered. As I say, I am more excited today than I was yesterday. I referred to him yesterday as the 5 pairs of socks you get for Christmas. I think he is probably, I think I underplayed that a little bit. I think he's a little bit better than that. So maybe I played it down. I'm actually really excited for this signing now. Let's be honest. How many January transfer windows have we had where we've signed a big player? It's been a long time. I think the last 2 big players really that we signed in January that made a real big impact were Aubameyang and probably Andre Arshavin. And look how long ago those 2 deals were, especially Arshavin. So I think we have to enjoy this signing. We don't often do good business in January. I think this is a smart signing, and he's excited to come to Arsenal. Yeah, maybe 10 pairs of socks, not 5. Socks and underwear. Premium socks, the good ones, you know. The Belgium Alexis Sanchez, listen, you know my thoughts on Sanchez. He's outrageous. Harrison said, I'm a big fan of this signing. Maybe he's a wallet and not a socks. Yeah, a wallet with a little card holder, you know. But I think this is a great signing. DJ Sweet said, glad you came round. Do you know what it is? I'm going to be honest. You know me. I don't cap on it. I'll tell you my honest feelings. I think with Justin Bieber, a.k.a. Mudryk, I think my thought process was we're going to blow the transfer market apart. We're going to go and sign someone for 70, 80, 90 million. So my thought process was, right, if we don't get Mudryk, we're going to get somebody big. So when I was hearing Trossard and 20 million, I was like, man, that's, we're trying to go for the shortcut, the cheap option here. We go in Primark instead of Harrods. I don't know whether I was about it, but when you look at it, he's a very good player. He is. He's got 7 goals this season. He scored a hat-trick against Liverpool at Anfield. He scored against Man City. He scored against Chelsea. He scored against Arsenal last season. He is a good player. He's dangerous. He was in the Belgium squad. For £20 million, it is a no-brainer. I can't lie. It is a no-brainer for 20 mil. He's 28. He's at the peak of his career. He gives us an option. He can play left wing, right wing, number 10. He can even play up front. He's not cup-tied in the FA Cup. He's not cup-tied in the Europa League. It makes so much sense that there's no way I can really be mad at the deal, and I still believe we can go and get an even bigger winger in the summer window if necessary. So I'm happy with the deal, and he turns up in big games, which is important, and he shoots as well. This signing reminds me of Jota joining Liverpool. I'd be very, very happy if he was like that. South London's Finest said, I would say it's Marks and Spencer's. Yeah, not Aldi, not Primark, Marks and Spencer's, which is high quality food. So we'll take that. We will take that. Beggars can't be choosers, you know. Big up Don Draper, who says Fab has done another update on Kiwior. We will have a look at that again afterwards. So I've just got that up on the screen. He signed a contract till 2028. But yeah, Trossard is, listen, smart business. And they were showing some stats on Sky. If you look at his numbers this season, we were looking at stats yesterday. Most shots of any Brighton player. 3rd highest pressing winger in the Premier League. Most chances created at Brighton as well. For all the statos, you know, he's effective. He will suit our style of football. You know, Brighton play a very attractive brand of football. I think they're one of the best footballing teams in the league. And I think he will suit us very well. And I'm very, very happy with the deal. So Trossard, there should be an announcement today. The Athletic, went on to say as well that Trossard will not prohibit Arsenal's summer spending. They believe he is an addition to the squad, and they are already planning for the summer, with the plan of Champions League football being at the club. So they're still going to look for big names in the summer. You know, maybe a few bigger names in the summer. But yeah, I'm happy with the signing. I really am. Let's see what you're saying, Abdul Ghaffar. I think I like the deals. Trossard can be worse. Ziyech, Werner and Sancho, even Anthony, also our Polish Jakub, can't be worse than an 80 million Fridge or 65 million Kukurea. Our park bench on Sunday, it's getting cleaned a little bit. It is getting cleaned. Rice and peas in the summer, people saying. We're going to talk about that one as well. Robert said, bro, as happy as I am with the business so far, I feel we need a clinical finisher. Go big or go home. And listen, I don't want to repeat it because I've said it a number of times. I felt Arsenal should have signed João Felix, and I stand by it. Because can you imagine if we'd have had Felix, Trossard, centre midfielder, centre back, would have been an incredible window. And clearly they're not sure how long Gabriel Jesus is going to be out for, which is the interesting thing. But it is what it is. We'll see at the end of the season whether it's been enough or not, I suppose. Almost 5K in the chat. Absolutely amazing support. Really appreciate it. Let's get 3,000 likes on the video, people. Arsenal are signing players left, right and centre. Leandro Trossard has completed his medical. He signed a 4.5-year deal with the club. The player was signed and registered before the 12 p.m. deadline, and he will be available for selection against Manchester United on Sunday. I would imagine he will be on the bench. And now you've got Smith Rowe, you've got Trossard, you've got Fabio Vieira, starting to see better options on the bench. I would like to see a couple more, but brilliant news, a good signing, 20 million, 7 million in add-ons. Let's keep going. Let's have a mini summer transfer window in January, and let's try and win the league. Expect this to be announced today. Arsenal moved their press conference from 1:30 to 4 p.m. apparently, so they could do his announcement video at the training ground today. So there should be an announcement today. When it gets announced, I'll put out a pre-recorded video when we see what he said in the interview, what squad number he's going to get, and so on and so forth. So if that gets announced today, we'll have a pre-recorded video out tonight. Don't forget, tomorrow, Liverpool v Chelsea watch-along, 12:30 kickoff. We'll be live from 12:15. And then the Arsenal-Man United watch-along on Sunday, people. So keep it locked. Anyway, Trossard is in. Now, let me just go back to this tweet from Fabrizio regarding our other signing of the day, Jakub Kiwior, the Polish Maldini as we're now calling him. Fabrizio has said, Arsenal and Spezia, people were saying I was pronouncing it wrong, have just signed the documents and contracts for Jakub Kiwior deal, sealed between the clubs a few minutes ago. Kiwior will fly to London with his agent to complete the medical test and then sign a contract until June 2028. 5-year contract for Kiwior. Well, 4.5 years, but apparently a 1-year option as well. Poldini, we're calling him. Fair enough. Listen, like I said before, majority of us have never really heard of him. I'd only seen him play in the World Cup. I've hardly seen the guy play. But he provides us with that depth in defence. The club were desperate to get a left-footed centre-back in, which is why we chased Lisandro Martinez so much in the summer. But obviously at 56 million, they didn't feel it was worthwhile. And he wasn't really guaranteed to start ahead of Gabriel, as they rate Gabriel highly. He's only recently signed a new contract. With Kiwior, £20 million, it's a lot cheaper. He's not going to complain if he's on the bench for Gabriel. It's a great opportunity for him. Very highly rated in Italy, was being looked at by Juventus and AC Milan. West Ham and Dortmund have had offers rejected. Started every game for Poland in the World Cup. As I said, don't know much about him, but let's hope he's a very good player. Arsenal don't often really sign big names, so let's hope this is a diamond in the rough, you know. Anonymous said Lewandowski has praised Kiwior highly. Presented before the game, possibly. Yep, they're saying his medical will be within the next 48 hours. Let's have a look. Big up Curtis, just reached. What's this? We're signing players in January. Well, I can't believe it. What I want to know, people, are you happy? Let me get a poll up. Let's get a poll up. And I ain't talking about Kiwior when I say a poll, by the way. Let's get a poll up. More polls than a strip club. Are you happy with Trossard and Kiwior? Because there are some people, I have seen them, there are people online saying this is an underwhelming window. There are people saying, for a team trying to win the league, and you saw how good Man City were last night with De Bruyne on the bench and Foden, are these transfers enough? Are you happy with Trossard and Kiwior, or are you underwhelmed? Do you think we should have gone bigger? Should we have spent 70, 80 million on a winger or a striker? Should we be buying bigger players? Are you happy with the business, or are you underwhelmed? I'm going to put a poll up. I want to know your general feelings. For me, I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, Trossard, I can work with that. Kiwior, don't know him, can't really back it, hopefully. I still want the central midfielder. That's where I'm at. People telling me this guy can play CDM in an emergency, but I ain't trying to have an emergency DM. I want a specialist in midfield. So it's still probably a 7 out of 10 window for me. A quality midfielder, we're talking 8 or 9 then. Ideally, I would have liked a striker, but I think once João Felix deal disappeared, that was the only striker they were really looking at. Elliot said, hey, Curtis, where is the Edu green screen? Let's see how this transfer window finishes. Then we'll have that conversation. A lot of us were talking about Frank Kessie yesterday, Vishal. Kessie actually scored last night for Barcelona. He played in the Copa del Rey. Barcelona won 5-0 against the second division team. Frank Kessie scored 1 and created 2. But apparently could be available on loan. I would love to see Frank Kessie. Milinkovic-Savic would be brilliant. He would be expensive and difficult to get. That is the only problem. Kessie would be a loan, so wouldn't stretch the club too much. What I like what Arsenal have done, though, and what I will give them some credit for, number one, you're addressing issues that need addressing. Number two, and what a lot of us said, if you were prepared to pay 90 million for Mudryk, why not break that 90 million down and go and get 3 players? Because this squad needs numbers and quality. We need quantity and quality. Bringing in Mudryk alone would not have been enough. So for me, I'm happy that we're getting bodies in. I just hope they're good. They can't be little weak links that we're just adding for no reason. We need Trossard to make an impact. We need this Kiwior, if he plays in Europa League, to be a solid outlay for us, and that we can rotate Gabriel and still be solid. Big up Spiller with the super sticker. Appreciate that. Connor Harvey, if I roll my eyes any harder at this club, I might as well stay blind. Fraudulent madness. Who's next? Peggy from Coronation Street. Peggy? What Peggy? Peggy was in EastEnders once. She not Coronation Street. Get out of my pub. Yeah, Peggy was in EastEnders, but Connor Harvey is not happy. He's saying it's fraudulent, but big up yourself, bro. Anyway, let's move on from Kiwior. It looks like that deal could be announced in the next 48 hours. And listen, it's another signing through the door. And Arsenal, listen, they're getting busy, but are you happy with the signings? Are they good enough? Are these the type of players that get us ahead of Pep Guardiola's Man City? One thing I will say about Manchester City last night, if you look at the quality of their bench, they were able to leave Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Cancelo, Kyle Walker and Laporte on the bench and still come back from 2-0 down and slap up Nando's 4-2. Their squad depth is unbelievable. So, is it enough? Is it enough, people? Hope this guy is not a centre-back Denis Suarez. For real, we can't have that one. We can't have that. Let's talk potentially about signing number 3, people. One that we mentioned the other day and looks like it could be coming to fruition. Not sure it's the most exciting. But anyway, let's have a discussion and see what's happening. Arsenal have practically reached a verbal agreement for the transfer of Ivan Fresneda. Saturday's match will very surely be his last for Real Valladolid, with a deal expected to close next week. Now, we spoke about this kid the other day. Now with the boy Kiwior, I'd actually heard of him because of the World Cup. This guy, Fresneda, I can honestly say, never heard of him, right? He's 18 years of age. He plays for Spain at youth level. He's played 9 games this season in La Liga. It's his breakthrough season for Valladolid. Was apparently being looked at by Barca as a long-term solution at right back. But Arsenal have jumped in. Now, what is interesting about this deal, initially they were saying he would be signed and sent back on loan until the end of the season. But it now looks as if, with Cedric Suarez potentially on his way to Fulham, that Fresneda could be joining Arsenal in this window. Now, like I said, it's a very interesting deal, this. An 18-year-old, if he comes to Arsenal, I can't see him getting a lot of game time, which makes me wonder, why bring him in now and not leave him out on loan until the summer? He's playing every week now in Spain. Would he have developed a lot more leaving him over there? I mean, we've got Ben White, we've got Tomiyasu. He's going to be third choice right back. According to reports, Mikel Arteta convinced him over the phone to join Arsenal, and that his development would be fast-tracked if he came to the Premier League. It's believed the fee will be around 18 million euros, which is about 15.5 million pounds. A lot of money for an 18-year-old who's relatively unproven, but apparently one of the best young right-backs around. Very difficult to get excited by it. Obviously, it's an 18-year-old. I can't see him playing a lot of football. Maybe he gets a run out in Europa League, but in Europa League, you would think Tomiyasu would play at right-back. So I can't see him playing a lot of football, which is why I'm quite surprised that Arsenal are choosing to bring him from Valladolid rather than leaving him over there and maybe developing. I would have thought they would have signed him and left him there till the summer. Let's see what he's saying in the comments. Does anybody watch La Liga on a regular basis? Do you know anything about him? I know very little about him. Apparently he's an attacking fullback, very good technically, can also play in midfield. Will Arsenal use this as Fresneda can play centre mid and Kiwior can play centre mid, so we don't need to buy a centre mid? Personally, I hope that is not the case. Alfred, thank you for the super chat. The way I'm seeing it is the board believe our starting 11 can win the league. So they are bringing in players for the cup games. ESR can replace Martinelli, Trossard for Saka. Now Gabriel has a sub. It's a good point. And I did say this after the Mudryk deal collapsed. I said, I think Arsenal will try and fatten up that squad depth rather than trying to bring in, an 80 million pound starter that goes straight into the starting lineup. I think they want numbers. They don't want to have youth team players on the bench in a title race. They want players in. So Trossard comes in, Kiwior comes in, this kid Fresneda comes in. I mean, he is still relatively young, but still he is playing first team level in La Liga. Big up Football Capo. Glad we are adding depth and quality to our bench. The way we are moving in this window can only mean we are focusing on getting our number one targets for the summer. The summer window has to be quality rather than quantity. It needs to be 3 or 4 players that can change the game, that can take us to the next level, rather than numbers and loads of players with potential. I want to see ready-made quality come into the side in the summer. So, yeah, I totally agree with you, Football Capo, on that. We need to get top level players for that Champions League, because Champions League is a different level. Too many could-be's, not enough can and will-be's, says Connor with the super. Connor's not happy. He's not happy. He thinks there's too much potential. He's looking for, right now, ready-made. I suppose Trossard would be considered ready-made. Kiwior and obviously Fresneda are very much, you would think, for the future. Power said, yo, Curtis, what did you think about PSG against the All-Stars? I enjoyed the game. Ronaldo and Messi. I was a little bit sad from a football point of view. It felt like football heritage was coming to an end. With those two. You kind of realise how lucky you've been to watch two players of that level for well over a decade go head-to-head. And I put that in the tweet. Listen, no matter if you're a Messi or Ronaldo fan, you have to really appreciate what those two have delivered. I have to admit, I've been fans of both of them for a long time. Richmond, thank you for the super chat. He can play inverted just like Zinchenko. If he plays it well, he will most definitely play certain games just like the Man City right back. Good point, because the boy Lewis at Man City, he's only 18 as well. So, yeah, I suppose age is nothing but a number if you've got the quality. Dre said, Curtis, like I said on the member stream, we need to sign a right back and a new defender. Shout out to those who were coming for me in the comments about Zaha. My opinion still stands about him. Listen, Zaha will never join Arsenal. Let's be honest. I'm capping when I keep saying Zaha. That won't happen. And yeah, but yeah, you were right. You called out defender, and I was like, do we really need a centre-back more than a centre-mid? But clearly the club feel they need to be able to rotate Gabriel, so fair play. Tierney, Curtis, whatever happened to him? Listen, he'll get game time, but he's our backup player now. That's the reality. Roy Kent, thank you for this. Roy Kent, big up yourself. Is that the Roy Kent? Was it Roy Kent in Ted Lasso, the captain? No one heard of Mudryk until a few months ago. I'm just happy to see depth. Was never expecting big deals in January from Stingy Stan Kroenke. Big up yourself. And I hear you on that. I think once Mudryk collapsed, we weren't going to make a marquee 80, 90 million player. It was always going to be players to fill out the squad. Sorry, mate, we don't need Zaha. I like the way you've changed the font there on the writing as well. That's decent. Sunil said, Big C, with this signing, I can see Tierney leaving in the summer. Arteta clearly fancy fullbacks who can invert. It's the Man City way, innit? It wouldn't surprise me. Michael Edwards, we are doing well. In the summer, we can buy top players after lifting the Premiership. That Premier League title is going to be difficult. Let's not cap. We are top. We're 5 points clear of Man City now. If Manchester City beat Wolves, which I very much expect them to do on Sunday, they will be 2 points behind us going into that Manchester United game, which in itself creates a different level of pressure and expectation. Now, we will have 2 games in hand. But, the outlook could have been very different if Tottenham would have taken points off them last night. So we're going to have to beat Man United, I'm afraid. We are going to have to beat United on Sunday because City have got Wolves at home. They'll beat them. I'm almost certain they'll beat them. If we're going to deal with that pressure, and they were saying last night on Sky, this is what it is to beat Manchester City in a title race. They're relentless. When you think you've got them, when they look weak and they're on the ropes and you think you're going to be 10, 11, 12 points clear of them, they'll come back from 2 goals down and win a game that they shouldn't win. They will push Arsenal all the way to the end of the season. So this is why you don't hear me saying that I think Arsenal will win the league. It's going to take a lot longer to be able to shift them out the way. We're only halfway through the season after Sunday's game, 50% of the way to go. So long way to go, but we got to beat United, get another big game out the way and stretch that lead on them. And just hope maybe Wolves can do something on the counter-attack. But I don't see it. I just don't see it. But it looks beautiful. Still great seeing us top of the table. They score a ridiculous amount of goals. Yeah, 50 goals they've scored already. So, yeah, listen, looking forward to the weekend. Let's continue with transfers. Got a few more stories to talk about. Couple more long-term deals. Probably more exciting, but I thought this one was interesting. A lot of you have mentioned this guy to me. Now, as you'll know on this channel, a number of times I've said, get Zaha to Arsenal. But maybe, after watching the game on Monday, and a lot of you have been saying this for a while, maybe the winger on the other side is the player that we should be signing. And according to Sammy Mockbell of the Daily Mail, who's not a bad reporter, to be honest, he said that Arsenal are monitoring Michael Elise and could make a move for him in the summer. And personally, I like that signing. I think he's a very, very, very talented footballer. He's a French under-21 international. Now, I was reading that Gareth Southgate and England have tried to schedule a meeting with him about asking him to change and play for England rather than playing for France. He was actually born in England, but to French, he's got French parents, and he's also eligible, I believe, to play for somebody else. I forget the other country, but anyway, England are trying to convince him. According to reports, he's told England he doesn't want to play for England. He wants to continue playing for France, which I can't blame him, to be honest. France have won World Cups in recent times. He had a £35 million release clause in his contract when they first signed him. Oh, he's Nigerian as well. He had a £35 million release clause. He signed a new contract in the summer that removed the release clause from his contract. He got a pay rise and removed the release clause. So there isn't no release clause for him to just pay 35 million. But surely, come on, Paddy Vieira, do us a deal. Let's get Michael Olise to the carpet. I like this guy. I think he's a very good player. Left-footed, techie. You saw the free kick he scored the other day. Apparently he's Algerian, Nigerian as well, French and English. So his options will be wide open. I suppose a lot will depend on how long it takes him to get into that French squad. No disrespect to Olise. I think he's a top player. With Dembele and Mbappe, they're two wingers at the moment. You've got Kingsley Coman. You've even got players like Anthony Martial who don't even get in the squad. I'm just not sure Olise is going to get in that French squad anytime soon. So maybe he's gonna, maybe he ends up playing for England, maybe he ends up playing for Nigeria. So it's a shame they got that release clause out of his contract. You know, maybe he should have rejected that, really. It would have opened up his options very quickly. But now you will have to negotiate with Palace. Would Patrick Vieira do us a favour? Reports saying they would want at least £50 million for him. And a very good player. Smooth said, Big C, the thing's getting global, was typing Kurt on YouTube from a different location, and without signing in, you popped up 4th on the list. Hey, I got to get in that top 3, man. I need to get a medal. I ain't trying to be 4th. But big up yourself, Smooth One, Jay. Hope you're well. Fitz said, Olise is the sort of signing we should be making now if we want the title. I hear you. I do understand when Arsenal fans are saying that. Yeah, I like the fact we're getting business done, but equally, maybe we should have been signing a game changer in this window. Let me end the poll and see your opinions on the business that we've done so far. 89% are happy with the business, 11% or not. But yeah, Arsenal being linked with a move for Olise today. And I personally would be very, very happy with that deal. I think he's a top player. Reports saying Palace would want about £50 million to let him go. I think they didn't pay too much for him. They got him from Reading in the Championship, so it would be good profit for Crystal Palace to get that one done in the summer. Surely Patrick Vieira, do us a favour, man. We're your club. Palace, they're talking about sacking him if things don't improve quickly. So let's see. Michael Olise being linked with a move to Arsenal. Alex said, Big C, don't talk about our future signings, or else Chelsea will come in for him. I need to come to the UK. How can I get access to tour the Emirates? Can we link up? Tours at the Emirates are easy, bro. I think every day, 9 till about 6. It's about 20 quid to tour. Even on a match day, you can tour. If you need tickets or anything, give me a shout. Email me, curtisshawtv@hotmail.com. Although tickets for this Man United game going for about £250 this weekend. So, yeah, it's not easy to get tickets now because the team are playing so well. Everybody wants to go and watch. So, yeah, not easy to get tickets for games this season. I think those comments are false. A couple of people in the chat were saying that Conte has been sacked. I can't see anything about that. I think that's made up. So, yeah, no false info, people. Sterling, people saying Sterling. Yeah, there are rumours. A few people have been saying Raheem Sterling's not happy at Chelsea. The problem will always be £300,000 a week. I don't know how Arsenal would pay that wage for him. And yeah, I heard on good authority, by the way, that Sterling, Arsenal wanted to sign him in the summer and possibly would have signed him if we'd have got Champions League. He's from Northwest London and he knows Mikel Arteta, but missing out on top 4, we weren't able to we weren't able to convince him to come to us, and 300 grand a week was always going to be a big problem. So it is what it is. And finally, people, last bit of transfer news before we wrap up today's show. Looking ahead again to the summer. Arsenal, we've spoken about this one before, people. If we cook the chicken on Sunday, that's for sure. So let's get the rice on the plate as well. The Athletic, Arsenal are planning for the summer, is already underway, with the club mounting a concerted bid to sign Declan Rice. It looks as if we're going to be favourites to get Declan Rice, because you've got to look at the dynamics. Chelsea have offered £55 million for Caicedo, who plays in the same sort of role as Declan Rice. De Zerbi, in his interview today, has said, I think it would be better for Caicedo to leave in the summer rather than leaving now. So, in theory, if Chelsea don't get Caicedo now, I think they get him in the summer. Manchester United signed Casemiro. Do they need Declan Rice? Plays in a similar role. I think we could have a free run at him. Now, you never know. Man United might feel he could play next to Casemiro. Chelsea are greedy. They sign players they don't even need. They've got about 8 wingers. They're still signing wingers. So, Declan Rice, it's believed this deal could cost around £80 million. Now, it would be cheaper, of course, if West Ham were to get relegated. But 80 million, would you pay £80 million for Declan Rice? I mean, I like Declan Rice. I think he's going to be a little bit overpriced due to the fact that he's English, he's in the Premier League. Could we get someone better? You know, when you look at Enzo Fernandez at 100, or Caicedo at 75, or Milinkovic-Savic might cost you 50, 60, is he actually worth £80 million? I don't know. Ryan said it's a Rice thing. Chelsea about to sign Rice for 200 million. Yeah, pretty much. No chance for 80, not for 80 million. He would cost that much money, I'm sure, just for the English tax. I'd pay 60. Enzo is 150. 50 million plus Lokonga. I think they'd reject that and just ask for 50 million. Yeah, I will. He will turn out good, Big C. You've always got to think, haven't you, how high is his ceiling, Declan Rice? I've always kind of looked at Declan Rice as a bit of a workhorse. Does he actually have that bag of quality on the ball to be able to perform? I don't know. I'm not sure with Declan Rice, man. I don't know if I'll stick to the rice and peas. Camavinga is the man. I'd love to get Camavinga. Absolutely brilliant player. But will Real Madrid let him leave? That's the problem. But yeah, Arsenal making move. A lot of people on socials are happy with the business we're getting done. Camavinga, I did actually see a report on Camavinga. Are they willing to let him go? Apparently he's been taken off at half time in the last couple of games. He's apparently not happy. Yeah, no, Madrid saying there's a possibility. No, they're saying he's not happy at the moment with the manager, but I don't know whether they'd be willing to let him go on loan. I don't want to add false hope. We got a new member on the channel. Big up to Jack for becoming a new member. I hope you're well, bro. Yeah, Declan Rice for 80 million for me is a little bit overpriced. I would look at other targets, but it sounds as if Arsenal are really in for him. You got to remember you have to have a certain amount of English players in your squad. And when you look at it, you know, I mean, how many English players we got? We got Ben White, Aaron Ramsdale. Who else have we got, really? English. Smith Rowe, Saka. That's pretty much it. And then you're probably looking at a couple of youngsters. So we don't have that many, really, English players. So, yeah, maybe that's where that's coming from. Maybe there's a need for an English player to be in this Arsenal squad, and maybe that's why they're doing it. It's an interesting one. 80 million for me for Declan Rice is overpriced, but I kind of see where they're coming from at the same time. But yeah, it's one of them. I wouldn't pay 80 million for him, but yeah, they may have to fill the quota. Rob Holding as well. Oh, Eddie as well. Yeah, Eddie. Yeah, so yeah, we don't really need him, but yeah, would he start over Xhaka in that attacking role? I'm not really sure. Declan Rice is great going forward. I would say he's a little bit more defensive minded. So, again, that's an interesting one. But yeah, it would be. Elise is one out that would definitely excite me in the summer if Arsenal went for him. 50 million for him in the summer, possibly. Maybe Paddy Vieira does us a deal. And we get him in a little bit cheaper. So, yeah, we'll have to see. Right, people, I'm going to round up. Let's have a look at a few of your comments, and then we're out of here. Let's just give 2 minutes. Nelson as well. Yeah, exactly. We definitely don't need English. Rice for 70, 90 is good. Nathan said, why have Arsenal signed a centre-back? Ben White and Tomiyasu are backup centre-backs. Wonder if this has anything to do with Saliba's contract. Few people have been saying that, but the report says he just wanted another left-sided centre-back. So hopefully no panic on man like Saliba. Omid said, as a Madrid fan, Camavinga is frustrating on the ball, makes rash fouls all the time. Not good enough for Madrid. Look at Tchouaméni. Big up to Nick, who said, big up yourself. His mum's in hospital, just managing to catch a stream. Big up to Nick. Hope your mum gets well soon, bro. Curtis would bring in Adama Traore, short-term solution. I mean, we don't really need another winger now with Trossard, because you got Smith Rowe, you got Martinelli, you got Saka, you got Trossard. That's 4. Nelson 5. We wouldn't need that greased up turkey, man. We're good, man. We go for a bigger winger in the summer. Rafael Leao in the summer. That's where I want to go. I don't want another stopgap. Bless up, Nick. More love to mommy. Big up, bro. We love the community spirit as always. Centre-back from Spezia is very good signing. Tough centre-back to break down and to get past from a Napoli fan. Big up to you. Listen, I always appreciate insight from fans. Got a message from a Juventus fan saying that he did really well against Vlahovic. So always good to hear. Listen, people, thank you very much for tuning in today. 5,000 of you in the chat. Appreciate your support as always. Hit that like button on the way out. As I said, Arsenal, 2 signings looking like they're going to be done this weekend. Trossard has signed. Official announcement should be today. Look out for that one. I'll have a short video out once that's confirmed. Jakub Kiwior, I keep forgetting the guy's name. Kiwior, signed from Syria, Polish left-footed centre-back, 20 million. He will join in the next 24 to 48 hours once he completes his medical. Left-footed centre-back to back up Gabriel. Fresneda, is it? Fresneda, I'm forgetting the boy's name. Young right back anyway from Spain, 18 years of age. Looks like he will come in and act as cover for Fresneda. That's it. He will act as cover when Cedric potentially goes to Fulham. So look out for that one. Don't forget tomorrow, 12:15, I'll be live. Liverpool against Chelsea, watch along. Join me for that one tomorrow. Should be a good game. And Arsenal against Manchester United, my favourite Premier League game of the season on Sunday. Massive game for Arsenal and a must-win now that Manchester City beat Nando's last night. Thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy your Friday, people. Appreciate your time. Take care, and I will see you all soon, people. Bless.